go to the next four. I would like everybody's opinion. You know, your favorite 8, 6. I mean, you can argue with me all you want. But like I said, I played multiple killers, multiple survivors. So this is my opinion. So, without further ado, the first killer perk, in my opinion, without any question, one of my favorites, one of the most impactful in the game, is Franklin's Demise. Yes, it comes from the Cannibal, aka Leatherface, aka Bubba. So when used on other killers, not Bubba, it does come to a surprise. We all know survivors bring in items to speed the game up, also slow the killer down with the flashlight, keys, speed up gens with toolboxes, of course, even sabotaging hooks. Bringing in Franklin's, in my opinion, changes the game, slows it down. They go back to try to find their items. They might lose great items, keys, great flashlights, etc. One of the most impactful perks, in my opinion, and that is why that is first on my list of 8. The second, which is probably by far my most favorite perk, if it could survive, is Hunter's Lullaby. So Hunter's Lullaby is every time you hook a survivor, the skill check time, first when it pops up, starts to not match up. And the more people I hook, the bigger the latency of the time notification versus the actual pop-up. And at the last one, 5 tokens, which would be 5 people hooked, there's absolutely no sound warning at all. Now this perk can be absolutely deadly if activated fully. Not even the fact that if you miss a skill check on a gen, it regresses it by 6. But also, it slows down your healing. If you have Sloppy Butcher, Thanatophobia, where you heal slower, more skill checks, more chances to miss. Now, this can be combined with great killers, Doctor being one of them, so you're going crazy. Your skill checks are all over the board, and Hunter's Lullaby does not help. That is by far my favorite perk in the game, if it could stay. Now, the biggest weakness to that perk, it can be destroyed. Great teams find totems, destroy your totem, you are now out of a perk, so you have 3 for the remainder of the game. Third on my list goes to the infamous Pop Goes the Weasel by the Clown. It does 25% regression at full strength. One of the best perks in the game to slow the game down. Of course, you have to hook somebody to activate this. But 25% on a gen is a quarter of it, right? So, absolutely fantastic. Nobody can break this. As long as you do your job and hook somebody, you can be able to slow it down. And it matches up with other good perks that I'm going to talk about later, such as Barbecue and Chili and Discordance. Okay, so number 4 on my list is probably going to be one of the most argued, but anybody that knows that as they play killer, play against what we all like to call toxic survivor with friends. Now, great survivor teams work together to try to prevent you to not hook their friends. Flashlights, sabotaging hooks, getting in the way, etc. Now, this perk by the Legion allows you to smack the people in front of you and pauses the survivor that you're carrying for 4 seconds. Doesn't seem like a lot of time. That's probably half the time it takes to carry. So I think it takes about 8 seconds for you to wiggle out if you're consistent. 4 seconds basically cuts that in half. So now you have to carry it for 12 seconds. Huge advantage. Absolutely fantastic. And if you have Franklin's, you smack the person that's trying to sabotage your hook. Well, now they have no toolbox, and the person that they're carrying is still stuck in your hands. So that is number 4. In my opinion, fantastic. especially toxic surviving friends that do any means necessary to eliminate their friend from being hooked. Now, the next 4 are, in my opinion, can be flip-flopped with a few, but I noticed for my success as killer are very crucial. And we'll put these up right now. Now, like I said, everything is my opinion. These are just things. My general goal to slow the game down. Of course, you want to kill everybody, but it is also to prolong the game as long as you can to give yourself a better chance of scoring just the most points you can. So, 4th perk is going to be, let's find it here. Now, I am very gen savvy. I like to prolong the game as long as I can. So, this is the last 4 in my opinion. First up, another cannibal perk is barbecue and chili. Everybody knows about it. You hook somebody, and you are given the notification of where everyone is for 4 seconds if they are further than 40 meters from the hook. The bonus is great for blood points, but allows you to figure out where everybody is, what gen they're on, etc., etc. Now, if you guys remember my other perks, matches great synergy with Pop Goes the Weasel. So, barbecue and chili is one of, by far, the top killer perks in the game. Number 6, we have play with your food. Comes from the Myers. Mr. Stalks a lot. But it's very simple. Every time you chase your obsession and you let them escape, you receive a token, up to 3. Every token is 5% movement speed to your killer. Once you swing, it spends one of your tokens. Now, each killer, we all know, has different speeds. So faster killers work very good. But even the slower killers, such as Huntress, other killers that aren't as fast, this also helps them do what they need to do. This doesn't max out. Once you get 3, you use it, you can get 3 again as long as your obsession stays about. Fantastic for speed. Number 7, to me, to close any type of looping capabilities via Windows, Killer Shack, vaults, etc., is Bamboozled. Not only do you vault faster, but you close that window from being used for 16 seconds. Huge. We all know the Killer Shack is one of the greatest loops in the game. You have window, door, one always has a pallet. You close that window off, and it now shuts down one exit of 3. So you have the same loop, and for Huntress, you can reach them. So that is the Clown perk, one of my favorite to shut down God loops per se. And the 8th and final one, in my opinion, is Overcharge by the infamous Doctor. What happens is you can kick these gens as long as they're worked on all game long. And we all know the kick to a regular gen does not do too much. Now, this also doesn't do too much. But if they miss the small, hard skill check that everybody should know about, which is extremely small, smaller than Decisive Strike, they get a 5% regression. So your 6% regression just from a kick added to 5 is now 11. That's almost half of Pop Goes the Weasel. So that synergy with Pop Goes the Weasel is absolutely tremendous. And of course, say Huntress Lullaby, harder skill checks, more misses, etc., etc. So those are my favorite top 8. Yes, you do not see Nurses Calling. Would it be in the top 10 list? Maybe. But everybody's going to heal. Yes, are you supposed to know where they are? Sure. But in my opinion, those are the top 8 in no order to be successful. Now, if you guys want to see the exact build I like to run, on all my killers, and that is going to be Barbecue and Chili, Huntress Lullaby, where'd it go? Franklin's Demise, and Overcharge. Yes, there is a hex in there. Sometimes I swap this out for Pop Goes the Weasel, but just knowing where they are at all times allows me to go get to that gen, kick it, etc., etc. Franklin's Demise by far is my favorite killer perk. Now we are going to switch over. Oh, and if you guys want to know, not that anybody does, but my favorite 3 killers in order go to number 1, the Huntress. I am a Huntress main. Number 2 would be the Doctor, and number 3 has to be the Wraith. We'll get to it another time, but those are my top 3 favorite killers in the game. We are now going to switch over to Survivor. Alright, now we're going to just do my favorite top 6. I know, why not do 8? But I decided just to do 6. Now, like I said again and again, these are my opinion. This is what makes me successful when I play the game. So this is just me. Now, this is my favorite perk to talk about that nobody talks about, and I'm going to give it the most underrated perk in the entire game, and that goes to perk number 1 by Jeff Johansson, my Prestige 3 guy, Distortion. So, if nobody knows what Distortion is, you get 3 tokens to start the game. Every time the killer and their perks would see you, for example, Bitter Murmur, when you finish a gen, your aura is shown. Barbecue and Chili, when a survivor is hooked, you're shown if you're further. There's so many. The biggest one is one of the largest helps ever is Nurse's Calling. If you're healing and you're close enough to the killer, a token gets taken away. So every time a token gets taken away for 10 seconds, you're not seen, and you leave no scratch marks whatsoever. And the token would be taken away like you would go hide in a locker for Barbecue and Chili so nobody sees you. It literally covers you for that. By far gives you so much information on the killer and what perks they're running to help your team if you guys are in chat with each other is absolutely unbelievable, without question. And it saves your ass big time. Number 2, my favorite exhaustion perk in the game, I've tried them all, Dead Hard, Adrenaline, Sprint, and Life, is Sprint Burst. Of course, the 150% sprint for 3 seconds, and will cool down in 40 at full purple 3. This is just the biggest one for me to survive, because you also get 150% speed boost when a killer hits you for 3 seconds. So you now 300% for 6 seconds. You're gone. See you later. Adios. I have a lot of great friends that use Dead Hard. They love it to death. It's just not for me. Number 3 on my list, which is one of my favorite teammate perks, is We'll Make It. Every time you unhook somebody for 90 seconds at max, you get 100% healing speed. Now, for killers who camp near hooks, you got Sloppy Butcher, so hemorrhage, and things that make you mangled slower. This 100% health speed is, without question, a must for your team. Quick heals mean extra hits. If you're slugged, a quick pickup. So many great things. Really, really good. One of my favorite. And I get nothing but kudos when I do have it on. So, number 4, I think, in my opinion, is the most important perk on a survivor that everyone should run for great teamwork, is Borrow Time. Borrow Time is a William Overbeck perk, And if you're in the killer terror radius and you unhook somebody, they get a free hit. Because you know usually they go in a dying state. Well, this gives you a free hit, and that means they get to run away. The killer can get distracted on somebody else. They can mend themselves and stay alive longer. Then that's the name of the game. Stay alive longer. So, absolutely, without question, 500%. I think everybody should have this perk on their game. Now, number 5 and 6. I'll get rid of these real quick here. 5 and 6 is, of course, arguable. But I'm going to go with it anyways. Number 5 on my list is the good old Laurie Strode perk of Decisive Strike. Now, we all been against those killers who stay relatively close to the hook, and then you get rescued by someone who doesn't have borrow time. Well, you get knocked down again, and you scream and you cuss, and the game is terrible. This allows you, if you hit your mark correctly, to get off the killer, and it's the longest stun in the game at 5 seconds. But for it to activate, the killer has to pick you up within 60 seconds of the last time you were hooked. It could save you from your third and final hook. You could use it before your second hook. Absolutely allows you to at least get away for a little bit longer for those tunneling killers. And last but not least is one of my favorite perks on my build, and that is Resilience. Resilience, if you are hurt, you cannot heal. If you're broken, you cannot heal. Grants you 9% speed when repairing, sabotaging, healing, unhooking, vaulting, cleansing, and those gates. 9%. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it's literally like you have a green toolbox on you at all times when you're repairing. You also can make those medium and high vaults a lot faster. So, by far, if you cannot heal or you like to run Iron Will, Resilience is absolutely fantastic for quick speeding the game up, unhooking your friends, killing that burning totem, etc., etc. But those, in my opinion, are my top 6. I would love to hear your guys' take on these. I know there's up to arguing. I know certain killers run better perks than others, and survivors, etc., etc. So those are my top 8 killer perks and 6 survivor perks in the game. To all my survivors, teamwork makes the dream work. And to all my killers out there, please, for the love of God, let's change this game and kill the survivor toxic friends with kindness and no tunneling. So yeah, if you guys like that video, please hit a thumbs up on this video. I'm going to be making more opinionated videos in the future. But yeah, like I said, my name is Joe. My PSN name is my YouTube channel name. So we can come survive sometimes, or I could kill you sometimes. Well, I don't know. But alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Remember, death is not an escape.